What's up, everybody?
Hello.
Tucker and the Beard back for our last podcast.
From a galaxy far, far
2019.
away. I'm just kidding. I was like, you're gonna have to rein me in, and I was just like, it's gonna be really funny if I just
going
go
hard
out
of the gate.
Just be like, I'm not even gonna say hi. I'm like, so Star Wars.
Oh,
Rise
man.
of Tucker and the Beard.
So yeah, we saw a movie. In
We did see a movie. That's one of.
fact, we've seen
Multiple
9 of
things.
them now.
We've seen more than that. So
Well,
at least
9 in the main canon. 3,
multiple others.
3 in the.
There's more than that. There's the holiday special. There's the Ewok Adventure.
It's true. Battle for Endor.
Hey, as a kid, I loved that thing.
I did too, actually.
It's really, really good.
Actually, I want to say Battle for Endor might have been my introduction
to Star Wars.
to Star
universe.
Wars in general.
Fantastic. Okay.
So,
See, it was good enough that it held you.
yeah.
Like,
and
it wasn't like.
and
not
again,
like, this is.
I'll
garbage.
reiterate this. I'm more of a
I'm
casual
sinking.
fan
There we
than
go.
you are. But
I think everybody knows at this point. I was looking at my Facebook and I was like, I've done like 9 posts in a row just related to
About
Star
Star
Wars.
and it's okay. It's okay.
Yeah.
We understand.
Almost getting into a texting fight
means
with
a
my
lot.
brother last night.
It means a lot to you.
Well, my brother texted me like this. It was like a picture of Yoda dressed as Joe Dirt, and it was Yo Dirt. And I was like, that's
pretty funny.
I was like, have you seen the new one yet? And he's like, no. And I'm like, you should.
Get after it, bro.
Like starting a fight.
You should get
My
yourself
wife's
to
like,
the theater
"Stop."
right now.
I'm like, stop while you're ahead. Because I was like, how dare he? How can he be the same
He
blood
doesn't
as
even
me?
Star Wars. He doesn't even Star Wars, bro.
Did you see my thing yesterday that I was mocking a buddy of ours on Facebook because he was currently at the
Yes, I did see
Florida,
that exchange.
the Florida.
He's in the Florida.
at Disney World.
Our friend Adam is currently
Yes.
Florida man.
Yes. Well, he's done a couple of different things, but he went to Disney World and was experiencing the Star Wars land there.
Mm-hmm.
But his wife did a post, but tagged him in it, and I didn't look that close. I just saw it was a picture of him, and I just did this thing from The Simpsons being like, I'm Star Wars.
I'm Star Wars.
And it took me a couple seconds to realize that it was his wife's post and not his. And I was like,
She
Listen,
got you back pretty good, though.
she did. And I was like, I owned it. I was
Yeah.
like, oh, yeah. But
Touche.
so I was like, delete that. Put that on the correct post. So, in all fairness to him, because I didn't want her to think it was
Yeah. And,
directed at her at all.
and it's slightly belated, but happy birthday to our friend Adam.
Happy B-Day.
Yeah.
Even though, as Anakin Skywalker once said to Obi-Wan Kenobi, I hate you. Just because I'm so jealous. In the last couple months, he's been to
Yes.
Disneyland, Star Wars Land.
Good.
Feel the
Let the
hate.
hate flow through.
Seriously. But yeah, it's been a big week for
Allegedly,
Tucker
we
and the
have
Beard,
Allegedly, we have an end to a
saga.
empire. Again.
We'll see. Well,
We'll
I
see.
mean, it's Star Wars is still a thing,
It is, but it's the end to that chapter.
right?
Anyway,
Anyways,
before we get too
digress.
down and dirty, first of all, we're going to do our best not to spoil the movie. We understand that everyone's not quite as fortunate and flexible as we are and got to see it opening weekend.
And we don't ever want to be those people. I think it came out like Thursday night
Yeah.
thing, and it was like
People
I think
had spoilers.
Thursday night at midnight was
Yeah.
like people were doing spoilers and stuff. We are not those people.
No.
I don't care if it's been out for. I don't want to spoil the original ones for you, and those have been out for like 40 years. So we're just gonna, if you don't know by now.
So it's not okay to discuss the fact that Darth Vader is Luke Skywalker's dad yet?
no.
No, before we get too deep into the weeds,
Yes.
and chances are we're gonna.
I'm going to. I'm owning it now. I'm sorry. I told him, rein me in, but
I'll do
We'll
my
see.
best.
we'll see.
We just wanted to again say thank you.
Yes.
The year is coming to a close. We've got 2 to 3 videos coming out after this one that we hope you'll enjoy.
Yeah.
But we couldn't do this without the people who support us, and we just want you to know that we appreciate you.
Yeah, very much so, and kind of touching on that because we've tried to raise this organically. We haven't tried to. We had somebody talk to us the other day. She'd be like, "Oh, you should just pay into one of those things and get yourself a whole bunch of likes and stuff like that." So it's kind of those things when you look at our like count and compared to Joe Rogan, who has millions and millions and
well,
whatever.
and that's a different thing, and
But
he's been
it's-
at that for 15 years too.
Right, but to kind of touch on the base that we are doing this organically. We're not paying for any kind of thing. So we appreciate every single one of the people that
subscribes and likes and shares
it's-
and does all this stuff.
It's huge.
We're a huge fan of you for being a huge fan of us. And we're taking the next step in that process, and we actually had some merch made.
Yeah, I'm gonna
like some real stuff. So we've got first of all, we've got these hats.
Yes.
That we're both wearing.
Super good.
Which we love.
And
we've got these t-shirts that are also available. Hats are $25. T-shirts are going to be $15. That's not too far over what they cost us. So we're not trying to get rich off the merch. We're just trying to give you guys some ways to show some additional support if you want to. They will be. You can message us.
Yep.
And we'll get that set up for you. And then
we're going to be trying to set up a couple things. You got a gig coming up.
Yeah, I'm going to be playing a few shows here in the new year. And so...
like the rock star you are.
Yeah, I guess. So, if you're a fan of OK music, come and check me out.
It's very good music.
We'll put the dates up on our Facebook page so you guys can come and check those out. And the merch will be available for sale there as well.
Yeah.
So, something we're super excited about.
Very much so. One of our new fans I got to throw out real quick before we kind of delve into it.
Okay.
One of our new fans, client, now friend, Wade Zedler. What's up? He had hit me up on Facebook and he's like, "What'd you think of the new movie?" And I was like, went off on this huge long thing. And then I go, delete. And then I go, "Hey, Tucker and the Beard are going to be reviewing it.
We'll talk about it."
So he's like, "Tag me in the thing." So I'm like, not only am I going to tag him in it, but I'm giving him a shout out here of making sure that he watches it.
Now you know.
Exactly.
Listen up, Wade.
We're about to get real. Well, I told him, I was like, but I'll give you a little tidbit. It's like, it's about as hot as the inside of a tauntaun.
I saw that. I did roll my eyes.
Because I had to give a little something because it's like, listen, if you know anything about Star Wars, it was enough of an answer.
Yeah.
But it wasn't too much because it was like, it's stinky. And
yeah. Like, it stinks? I don't know what you're getting at.
The temperature of the inside of a tauntaun is lukewarm.
So I quit.
Yeah. You're like, this has been a fun ride.
Yeah.
It was
and with that, buy a bunch of merch because I quit.
It was the lukewarm joke that just tipped it over the edge. At least you got it, though. Credit to you.
So obviously, this newest trilogy.
Well, I was like, because we got two things to discuss.
Okay.
One thing that was leading up to, we can touch on real quick, which was because you and I had some confusion over episode 7 of The Mandalorian.
Oh, I'm so glad that it wasn't the final episode of the season. I got real worried for a minute.
I had to kind of comfort you a little bit because you're like, oh my gosh, it's like the crazy. I'm like, there's one more episode.
I was in genuine panic. I'll try and remember. There was this meme that I saw on the lines, and it was essentially, I don't know how Disney expect me to have a good Christmas with me sitting there worrying if Baby Yoda is safe.
Exactly. Yeah. Oh yeah, that is. Me wondering how Disney expects me to enjoy my Christmas knowing Baby Yoda is in danger.
Yeah, I'll try and drop that meme here-ish so you can
that's super
see
funny.
it as well. But yeah. Whew.
Yeah. That's a big kind of cliffhanger. And I was like, what's going on? Well, and I thought because they released it early, I thought that there was going to be some kind of tie-in because normally they release Mandalorian episodes on Friday.
Well.
But, like, I thought that there was going to be
without spoiling anything from the movie.
Right.
There is a tie-in.
There's...
that we can talk about off mic.
Right.
Because we don't want to spoil it for people.
All right. I want to see what you're thinking. But I was...
Oh, I'll tell you what I'm thinking.
I know. I can't stop you from telling me what you know. But it was... I thought that there was going to be one of the characters or some kind... Like...
Right.
You're like, all of a sudden the Mandalorian walks on, into the screen.
Or at least, like I was expecting to see, because this, the Mandalorian kind of takes place in the space between the original trilogy and the new trilogy.
Correct. It's 5 years after Return of the Jedi.
Yeah.
But it was, I thought, there was going to be a grown Baby Yoda or something. Like,
maybe. I've actually been expecting more to see some Easter eggs in The Mandalorian that more was some crossover with, say, The Force Awakens.
Right. And that there wasn't anything evident, like...
No, nothing huge.
That they could have done.
I've watched a few YouTube videos where they're like,
people start
57 Easter eggs in this episode of The Mandalorian. I'm like, okay.
No.
I think someone needs to educate those people on the difference between an Easter egg and a plot point.
Well, and one of the cool things that it's been indicated since episode 1 of The Mandalorian, but they hit it really hard in this one, is because the Empire has fallen.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things, like, not all the members of the Empire have gotten that memo.
Yeah, they don't know yet.
So they essentially have become warlords of the different areas. And so the Empire's kind of still a thing. They're still stormtroopers. They're still high dignitary for the Empire. They've just become warlords, and they're still carrying on that thing that they have to...
They're just
New
more...
Republic has to go
like you said, they're just more... warlords now. They're not a unified army.
Right, but they're still wearing the uniforms. They're still stormtroopers and all that stuff. But then the last episode was kind of like all of a sudden a big army kind of shows up of stormtroopers, and you're like, whoa, still a thing.
Hello, gentlemen.
Yeah. And they really want Baby Yoda. I want them to do a name. I'm tired of calling him Baby Yoda because he's not Yoda. Well, and it's confusing people that are not in
his official title as of right now is not Baby Yoda,
it's the child.
The child.
So, it's what you're trying to do, because it's not... Listen, I know we probably said it in the last...
What do you think about the theory that the child is not an offspring of Yoda, but a clone?
See, I'd be down with that.
That's a theory that's floating around out there.
Right. Because if you want me to really geek out for a minute, is Jedis are not supposed to have attachments, relationships.
And Yoda doesn't seem like the type to break the Jedi code like that.
Right. It's like the dude that helped write the code is not going to break the code. So I would rather it be a clone type situation. But one of the cool things they did, I don't know if it was in episode 7 or episode 6. See, I'm already boring you. Just kidding. Was the child thought that the Mandalorian was in danger and ended up doing something that was perhaps more on the dark side of things. But it's a baby and has to learn. Yeah. Right. But it was kind of a cool little thing, and everybody's like, he's actually evil. He's actually...
no. He's just a baby.
It's just kids in general.
Yeah.
Like, hey, if you raise your kid to be a bully and not a good person, they're going to be one. raised to be a good person.
And we don't know who's been raising the child
for the last
50 years.
Right. Has it been the Empire?
Who knows?
Just saying. But I thought that there was going to be kind of... I think
Could you imagine having a teenager in your home that could force choke you, though?
Like emo Anakin?
Yeah, like emo Anakin. Like, really.
I want to go out with my friends.
Like,
yeah.
Teenagers are hard enough.
Right.
As you and I both very well know.
Well, because there's been like this content that it was like Baby Groot had the cuteness thing, and then it was like Baby Yoda.
Adolescent Groot started having an attitude.
So I'm just like, and he's sitting there playing video games and like whatever. I'm like, can you imagine Baby Yoda being, angsty teen? As my
force slamming doors and
as my son would say every time. I'm just like, why didn't you do that? He's like, because I'm an angsty teen. But my son's a smart ass too, so. But it's good. I thought that there was going to be, because they released it early, I thought that it was going to give people a chance to watch it, to kind of go.
I think that they just wanted Thursday and Friday
to be Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah.
Now, I will say this, because
my original thought was they released it on Wednesday because it was the season finale.
Right.
And that's why I freaked out. I was like, no.
Yeah. Not.
Listen, I get most seasons of continuing stories are going to end on some kind of a cliffhanger.
Right. But that was one where it was
that was too big, and I was like, no.
That was a punch to the gut, so to speak, and you're just like,
no. You don't get to do this to me. And then make me wait a year to find out what happens.
Not cool. Yes, we have one more episode of that, but I thought it was going to tie in a little bit more. There's going to be in a movie filled with nostalgic hat tips, to the fans. I thought that there was going to be some kind of, teenage Baby Yoda walking in behind, or hey, or some kind of Mandalorian thing. But I didn't hate it. But kind of leading up to it, and we've talked about critic stuff before, because critics have kind of been tearing the movie apart a little bit.
Well,
not Cats level. But
oh boy,
that has been one of the things.
Yeah, it's been so much fun to watch that.
Oh my god,
it's been so much fun to watch the critics and even the audiences just destroy that movie.
Did you see what happened?
Didn't they pull it?
So
that they can re-render the fur on these ridiculous cat people.
Do this? They can Sonic the Hedgehog this thing
on the fly,
and they already released it, and they're going, "No, this is bad." People are going, like, critics of like, I question when my life was going to be over. Like, just kind of brutal responses that are absolutely hysterical.
And you know what, though, is people are doing the same thing with Rise, though.
Yeah, and kind of leading up to it, not that I was nervous or that we don't normally pay attention to critics, because I've gone to many movies in my life that have got horrible reviews, and I loved it.
Yeah.
And...
Well, I think...
Vice versa.
That, just like in our main professions, we are... Someone said this to me, and I took it as a compliment. I think they meant it as a compliment. Okay. But they're like, you guys are kind of like the anti-agents.
Yeah. Yeah, and it was kind of like...
We definitely do business a little bit differently. We don't subscribe to those quote-unquote norms,
right?
That a lot of real estate agents happen to fall into. Mm-hmm. Mostly because we think they're shady.
Yeah, very much so.
So I'm just gonna.
It's like, listen,
I'm just dropping bombs right now.
Yeah, and I like to do business with people that I trust.
Yeah,
there's a lot of people that I'd be like, okay,
I'll pass.
Listen, you want to sit there and talk about Star Wars with an agent? We're your guys.
Be your guy,
right?
But we kind of take that same approach to being film critics in a way as well, where we're not Siskel and Ebert.
No.
We're the anti-critic.
Yeah. But that's a good thing that we're
the
Siskel
people's critics.
Right.
We're the people. We're critics that are fans.
Yeah.
And I think that's it. Just gives us a different perspective.
Well, and I think it was. I was looking. I think I sent you the stuff about Cats, and it almost made me want to go watch it because of how bad it was. was like, it's been a while since we've seen a really bad movie
On purpose.
on purpose. But I'm like, I almost want to go. And then they're like, we're pulling it. I'm like, no, I want to watch the bad one.
I want to watch the bad one. And even just the trailers for that, it's just
are brutal.
It's cringy.
Yeah. It was. But
I don't know what better, like, for those of you who own cats, I'm sorry.
Right.
I'm not a fan of cats as a species.
Just in general.
Yeah.
Yes.
They're just not. First of all, I'm
more of a dog person.
I'm wildly allergic. And I just don't like their smug little attitudes. They're kind of creepy. And
the judgmental attitudes.
And I'm not a super huge fan of animals that are continuously trying to show you their buttholes. Okay? And as you're watching the trailer for cats, you're like constantly like hand half over your eyes like, am I going to have to look at James Corden's butthole in a second? Because the way that they did the costume design and everything.
Well, and I think that
it just freaked me out. Yeah, it just looked creepy to me.
Yeah, I've delved into just like, okay, why is this getting bad reviews? Like, whatever. And they're like, the special effects are horrible. They're like, this is a thing of going, this is a Broadway musical, that there's something special about it. Watching the entertainers up on stage and costumes and everything.
And it just doesn't translate.
And they're like, this should have never been greenlit.
It should never have been put in 4K.
No.
Ultra HD.
Yeah. And just, I saw one thing that was like the dance moves and stuff, that because the shoes that they had to wear weren't covered with, there's a gap between the ground and their feet, the way that they did the special effects.
Oh my God.
And I'm just like, oh my God, and their faces aren't tracking. It's just, I want to go watch the disaster.
Oh man. If anyone has like a screen rip of the original.
I know.
Bad version.
I know. I just want to be like, hey, go do that. But critics kind of leading up to Rise of Skywalker and, oh my gosh, it's like the worst one ever. Everything. And I'm like, okay, listen. And I did a joking meme the other day that it's like, I love all of them.
Yeah.
That, like, I don't care what people say. And it very much true. You know, I'm like, it's one big story to me. Listen, would The Last Jedi be the last on my list? Yeah. It was one of those ones. I'm like, they made some choices.
They made some choices,
but
for
listen,
sure.
LucasArts, Lucasfilms isn't asking me to write the movie.
Yeah.
So it only goes so far.
Both of the Jedi movies are like, they're in eighth, like in the bottom of the
list of
the ranking.
Yeah, if I had to rank them, The Last Jedi would be last on my list because I'm like,
but it wouldn't be that far behind Return.
See,
I don't know if they'd be consecutive. Right. I don't know if they'd be 8 and 9.
Right.
Because I still think, you know, even though Return of the Jedi was mostly Muppets, that I probably still liked it more than Episode 1.
Okay. See, and
maybe even Episode 2.
See, and I like those ones.
I'm not saying that I don't like them, but I still think I like Return of the Jedi more than I liked Episode 1 and 2.
See, when I read something after watching the movie the other day, and I find it very true, that they go, this sequel trilogy, so 7, 8, and 9, make you appreciate 1, 2, and 3 more.
True.
And I agree for the fact of, in 1, 2, and 3, there's an overarching story. You know...
Yeah.
Like
it's setting up
over the 3 movies.
It's setting up 4, 5, and 6.
Right. It's setting up Darth Vader. It's setting up.
Even though they have to add things to 4, 5, and 6 to make 1, 2, and 3 make some extra sense from a continuity standpoint.
Right. But it's one of those things. It's like there's the overarching story. Yeah. You don't get lost in the weeds. J.J. Abrams, who helped write and direct 7, The Force Awakens, he wasn't, I think he produced 8, but he wasn't involved. He didn't direct it.
He didn't do anything.
It was Rian Johnson.
Yeah. The original plan was to have 3 different directors on 7, 8, and 9. 8
got messy. Mm-hmm. It took what was being set up in 7 and just kind of threw it out the window a little bit.
And so and then they had a third director for episode 9.
Yeah, but they brought J.J. Abrams
who quit,
back.
or got fired
earlier
in the production and brought Abrams back in for episode 9.
So he had a lot to kind of clean up.
Yeah. He's
from
like,
8.
Gotta clean up this mess now.
Well, I read it, saw a thing that's like, there should have been a 10. So it's like, 9 should have been like, hey, we're going to clean this up. What was done in 8 and 10 be the finale. But I didn't, through all the critics thing, I think all the critics are wrong. And again, this is...
Because if nothing else, episode 9, and really the sequel trilogy altogether, has been pretty polarizing.
Yeah.
Like, I know people who, like, up until episode 9, their favorite episode was 8.
Wow. Okay.
So, it's a pretty wide divide, and what I've gathered, even though I don't necessarily feel this way, is that the sequel trilogy is more fan service to casual fans than
was
really paying tribute to continuing the story properly and serving the quote unquote hardcore fans.
Right. It was one of those things that 8. Listen, it's not like I'm never going to watch 8 again. It's not like I'm like, I watched it one time and I hate this movie and I'm in the basement yelling. And no, I'll watch it. I'm just saying it's last on my list and just go, you know what? They made some choices.
Yeah.
Mary Poppins, Princess Leia flying through space is not one of them.
Yeah.
Like, when I saw that, I'm like, oh, no. They did that.
Well, I mean, and Leia being force sensitive doesn't really surprise me.
No, I think 9 did a good way of addressing it
and tidying up.
Right.
But it shouldn't be a surprise that Leia would be force sensitive.
Right. Yeah.
Her father is Anakin Skywalker.
He was created by the midichlorians. So created by the Force.
Yes.
So yeah, I can geek out hard right now.
So
but, yes, of course she's going to have that, and they had that connection. Luke and Leia.
Good idea for the title for this week. Sorry.
Force sensitive. But they had that connection in the first one, and they kind of tried to do little things in this one where it was people that there was this overarching force that people were like, it's a thing. But yeah, there was a lot of, listen, I laughed, I cried. It's a lot of part. My son's like looking over at me at like,
your son is be like, you okay, buddy?
Listen, there was one scene just from a storytelling point of view, didn't need to be in the movie. There's one scene, 30 seconds long towards the end.
Okay.
And it was just, they threw it in there just for people like me that have been like, not angry about something, but just since A New Hope, been like, whatever, like something didn't line, and they just did it, and it didn't make any sense towards the story.
Okay.
But this boy was like getting watery eyed.
I'm not crying. You're crying.
Yeah. I think it was one of those moments I'm like, oh, they did that thing. And my son's like, what are you talking about? And I think once he realized, he was like, oh. But yeah, there was a lot of those little moments where they.
And let me just say, let me step outside the story for a second and just talk about the filmmaking.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all should know by now that, Carrie Fisher's dead.
Yeah.
She passed away.
Yeah.
But she still played a prominent role in this film.
She was in 50% of this movie.
Easily.
Yeah. They did some things that
I
don't even know.
Prove that she wasn't in this movie.
Yeah.
Like,
I saw one part that there was stuff they took from Last Jedi.
Yeah.
Like, just whatever. But she played a really big part in this movie.
Yeah.
And
she passed away before it started production.
Yeah. It was nuts.
The VFX that they did with...
If you would have told me she died during production of it or whatever, and so they had to change...
They had to alter the storyline.
I would have been okay.
That would have made sense, but no. She was 100% not in this movie.
But was 100%
but was a huge
in this movie.
Role in this movie.
Yeah, and there was a lot.
I just thought that was tremendous.
Yeah, there was a lot of stuff that I appreciated that they did with C-3PO and R2-D2.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason that they're like my favorite characters is they're in every single...
Mm-hmm.
They are the two characters. They are the Jay and Silent Bob, if you will.
Of the Star Wars
Even though
universe.
C-3PO and R2-D2 were first, but that was one of Kevin Smith's thing. That's based there's these two characters that you can follow throughout all 9 movies.
Yeah,
even more. I think they're in Rogue One.
They're in Rogue One.
So
they weren't in Solo.
They weren't in Solo, but you know what I mean. Like from Episode 1 to Episode 9, they are the two that travel throughout all of these movies,
and they're pushing a lot of buttons, pulling a lot of levers, making a lot of things happen. Yeah,
and so it's just a big. And there's one scene in that I'm just like, oh,
don't you do it?
Don't And they, I think, pulled it off nicely. Yeah, but there was some emotional ups and downs and everything of this movie. So, but yeah, there's not really a whole lot of huge flaws that I've seen. Like,
no, I think that Abrams did the best he could to clean up the somewhat of a dumpster fire that was Episode 8.
Yeah, because they did some...
He had a lot of undoing to do.
Right.
And I think he did so in a way that helped Episode 8 make more sense. Mm-hmm. And it made for a good Episode 9.
They brought back a character that a lot of people are weird about, which, I mean, if you haven't watched the trailers, then whatever, but Palpatine plays a big part of this movie. And a lot of people are like, well, they never even said... Okay, listen, we gotta clean some stuff up. But it ties Episode 1 to, like... Yeah. There's a lot of things that you're just like, okay. So I think it was a smart choice.
Yeah. No, I agree.
To kind of bring him back and tie his story to
everything else.
To everything else and kind of go, oh, okay. But they put
It just shows you what one douchebag can do to ruin everything.
Yeah.
For everyone for a really long time.
Fully invested in destroying the galaxy.
Yeah.
Or galaxies.
Which is never...
Galaxies.
Which has never been like a villain plot point that I've understood.
Yeah. But
right? Like, what is your goal as a villain? I'm going to destroy everything. You're like, but like, you live in everything, right? So like, if you just, when it's an Earth-based,
right? Well, it makes me think of like the Dark Knight.
I'm going to destroy the world. You're like, bro, you live on the world, right? Like, if you destroy the planet,
then there's nothing for you to
like. What do you gain here?
Right. But it made me think, and I heard it, once or twice in my head during the movie of Alfred from Dark Knight, talking about the Joker. Some people just want to watch the world burn.
It's true. Some men just want to watch the world burn.
And it's just one of those things where you're like, all right. But I like the fact that he's just like, listen, he's just evil. Yeah. Just he doesn't care. Like, it's just, hey, this is what we're doing. Cameos galore.
Yep.
More that, and it could be expected.
It's hard. It's hard to
give away.
It's hard to not. It's hard to get into everything that I'd like to get into with not.
I know.
Ruining the movie for those who haven't. We understand. Like, Christmas is a big, go to the movies day. So I'm sure a lot of folks who haven't seen it yet are probably going on Wednesday.
Yeah.
So.
I've never been that guy. But
I'm not either. I'm not. If I can stay home, all day, on Christmas Day, I'm cool with that.
Yeah, I've got Christmas, and then I've got my daughter's birthday the day after that because we planned that well.
Yeah, good job.
And then we've got a Tucker Christmas thing that coming the weekend after, and so it's just, you know what, I can do some things.
Yeah.
To not, if I can be a little bit low key this week, that's what I'm gonna do.
Cool.
But yeah,
I would say,
or I'm gonna go see Cats.
Or you
listen, if somebody watches this video that works for the movie theater,
and you want to get us a copy of Cats, the bad version,
yeah,
I'll watch it.
That's what I'm saying. If we get a thing right now, just goes, hey guys, listen, before we send this back on
Come
Friday,
on over.
Like special, I will be there.
Like we're closing at 11. Come at 11:15.
Yeah,
I'll make it happen.
Yeah, Merry Christmas to Tucker and the Beard.
Yeah,
because
that is literally the only scenario in which I am okay with watching that.
Because it's gonna be great. But Rise of Skywalker, from me who has loved it,
super fan and a casual fan, go see it.
Definitely go see it. Don't listen to the critics. Make your own critique.
What is the Rotten Tomatoes score? Not that I think really
the audience score is higher than the critic score. I don't remember what it.
That's almost always with any big budget action type movie.
But yeah, no, I need it. I want it to do well. Before I sent you the thing of kind of going off Disney's thing, but James Cameron's coming after some Disney. He's made some bold statement.
So, and of that, I was actually looking because speaking of Cats,
yes,
talk about holy box office bomb, Batman.
Did it do that bad?
Oh man,
we were just talking about
its opening day.
Mm-hmm.
I think it took in $2 million,
and a budget of
1,500 theaters. Yeah.
How much did it cost?
Rise of Skywalker did that before noon.
Right. Without breaking a sweat.
Yeah. Didn't even have to try.
Yeah. Yeah, I want to see bad Cats. So, I had no desire to watch Cats before.
The critic score is sitting at 57% on Rotten Tomatoes for
and I don't
for
get
Rise
it.
of the Skywalker
I just don't
with an
get
86% audience score.
Well, they're saying that it did worse. The opening weekend did worse than Force Awakens and Last Jedi.
Yes.
And I'm just like, listen.
$6.5 million for Cats. For opening weekend.
Oh. I was like, it costs way more than that to make.
It was a $100 million movie.
Yeah, $100 million and made $2 million in... Oh, God. First of all, it's a dumpster fire of a movie, and then you put it up against relatively close to Star Wars.
Yeah.
It's just a bad decision all the way around. This is our last movie review, though, of
2019.
Of 2019.
Yeah. I said that at the beginning.
No, I know, but it was just because I started to look, I was like, what do we got next week? And it was the reminder.
Yeah, we're actually going to take a few weeks off.
What is that?
Well,
Christmas,
New Year's.
Yes.
Boy, howdy, do we have some big changes coming up.
We do.
So,
buckle up.
Stay tuned, friends. And go see this movie. Take your family. You know what? If you got a few days off, say you haven't watched all of the movies, do that.
Yeah.
And then go watch this one.
Well, it's like, listen.
Binge it for a day and a half. Do it.
It's like, if you like Star Wars.
Or just science fiction in general. If you like action movies in general.
Well, listen, I'm just throw this out before we go. Is there some nods to some other movies? You can see some other movies. And I think we were talking, and I wanted to address it because it was a little bit more. I said, listen, it was like, I think 60% Star Wars.
Yep.
And then I was like, it's like 10% Harry Potter. No. The more I think about it, there's a lot more. There's a lot of there's a and not like, Harry Potter, but there's some.
No,
you go, wait a minute. One scene in particular, I'm like, all right, we're doing that.
Gun.
I was like, we're doing that. There was a lot. There was a lot of Harry Potter in there, and then there was some Marvel Cinematic Universe sprinkled in there. So,
we're just gonna call that Disney.
Yeah, just just Disney in general. You're just like, oh.
It was about 60% Star Wars,
And I can't tell you the one scene, but
25% Harry Potter, and 15% Disney.
Yeah, I can't say it without ruining, but there was one scene I leaned over to my son and I was like, hey, did it a full-blown did a line from the Avengers.
Yeah.
And right after that, very similar thing like happened. So it was just kind of like hey, I see what you did there.
Yeah.
It worked for that one. It worked for this one.
True story.
Go see it.
Merry Christmas, Happy New Year.
Merry Christmas.
And
thank you for everything. We really appreciate you guys. Stay tuned.
Until next year. He's Tucker.
He's Beard.
We're out.